I've just finished building this V-style guitar, and before the customer collects it, I thought I'd just make a video to show you the guitar and talk about how this project sort of came about, the development, the construction of this guitar, and show you the guitar in a bit more detail. So a while back I was approached by Ian Dow about the possibility of making a copy of a guitar that was made by Dan Erlewine for Albert King in the early 70s. The distinctive feature of that guitar is it had Albert King's name inlaid in the fretboard and Lucy in the headstock. Now, if you don't know who Dan Erlewine is, let me talk about Dan. So Dan is a hero of mine. I've learned so much from Dan over the years. A couple of books of his that I've got. A Guitar Player's Repair Guide. This is a book that I bought when the internet was young. It's much read and thumbed through, and also a later book by him, How to Make Your Electric Guitar Play Great. And I'm extremely indebted to Dan for all the information that he's been able to pass on to people like me after a lifetime of making, repairing, restoring guitars. And Dan still makes videos now, and I've learned just so much from him. So when Ian approached me about making a copy of one of Dan's guitars, the first thing I wanted to do was just make sure that Dan was happy with that. So I emailed Dan and explained that I'd been asked to make a copy of his Albert King guitar, and would he be happy with that? And he came back to me and said no, he wouldn't. That if Ian wanted a copy of that guitar, he should approach him, and he was planning to make more copies of the Albert King guitar. So out of respect for Dan, I decided that's it, that's fine, I won't go any further with this project. And then Ian came back to me and said, well, how about if I have my name, Ian Dow, inlaid on the fretboard and his wife's name, Susan, on the headstock? And I thought about that, and I thought, well, actually, therefore this guitar would not be a copy, but very much a nod towards the guitar that Dan Erlewine made, but not a straight copy. And I thought that would be okay. So Dan, if you ever hear about this or watch this video, I hope that I've not broken faith with you, and you're happy with how this guitar has turned out. So that's an overview of the guitar, but importantly, what does it sound like? Well, when I plugged this in for the first time, the first thing that struck me was just the sustain of this guitar is just wonderful. The chords just ring and ring. It's just really, really nice to play. Now, fortunately, a friend of mine, Phil Short, is a fantastic guitarist. He's picking up one of his guitars that I've been working on. So I just asked him just to play a bit of this guitar so you can hear what it really sounds like in the hands of a proper guitarist and not me.
Well, I think it's one of the best sounding guitars I've ever heard. Genuinely, and I'll tell you why I think that. The reason why I think that is because it's got that great sustain you were talking about. It's really warm sounding, and it's got that bottom end weight to the sound, but it also has that real sweetness in the top with loads of clarity, and it's got loads of articulation to it as well. It doesn't sound overly dead or compressed in things, and I think whatever's going on with these pickups is complementing the resonance of the guitar really well. That's why I really like the more vintage lower output voice pickups, because that nuance and that dynamic range comes out, and I feel like even with the high gain overdrive pedal I can still control sort of how aggressive the sound is with how I'm playing the sound.
So Phil, having sort of played this for half an hour, your thoughts? What do you like about it? What are you hearing sound wise and playability and all that?
Well, playability wise, it plays like butter. Really, it's just really smooth, and like you go for you go for a bend or a move or something, and it does as it's told. If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, sometimes
not fighting the guitar.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And at the same time, it's giving you enough resistance that you feel like you can. What's the word I'm looking for? You know, like you can work with it a bit like with good clay or something. You know, it doesn't just fall apart in your hands, and you go for a note and it just goes woo out the window. So in that sense, it's really nice. The other thing that's greatly pleasing to me is just how well it plays in tune across the whole fretboard as well.
Yeah, that's important. That's important.
It's really important. You know, it's so annoying when you play a guitar and think it sounds great, but I can just never get it to play in tune, and you end up going home with a different guitar that doesn't sound as good, but at least that one plays in tune. You know. So you know that bit's.
Yeah, I mean, I like Evo Gold fretwire. It's just very nice to play on with it.
Yeah, really smooth.
Yeah.
Which is really nice, and the neck profile is really comfortable. And yeah, I'm used to playing more Strat style guitars, but I didn't pick it up and go, oh, that feels radically different. I just thought, oh, this feels nice. And the other thing, sound-wise, is I'm just enjoying hearing the sound of the guitar. Very happily just keep going. I can't believe it's been half an hour already. I was like, really? I've only been here for 5 minutes in my head. You know, so it's everything's very responsive. And what is it? Is it mahogany?
It's walnut.
Walnut. Okay, I've never played a walnut guitar before, but it's really warm. You know, it has a really nice, rich sound.
Yeah. But
it's not dull. You know, there's still real sweetness in the top.
It's enough sort of top end, enough bottom end.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, it's very dimensional and it's very dynamic as well. So the thing I enjoyed even with the high gain sounds, especially with the choice of pickups that complement it really well. I can still dig in on that high gain sound. I get a nice bottom end, but when I play a high note, it's still got that sweetness to it, and it's got that articulation, that teeth to the sound. I don't have a better way of explaining it.
It's
got that edge
without being spiky.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I can imagine, you know, playing that through a nice loud amp on stage. Not that we're allowed to do that anymore, anyway. But you know, in your rehearsal room, it just being a very dynamically pleasing experience. You know, so it feels very inspiring to play, I have to say.
I've really enjoyed making this guitar for Ian. There has been some challenges along the way, not least the amount of inlay work that I've had to do. Indeed, I woke up one morning convinced that I had inlaid the lettering in the wrong place in the fretboard. I knew I hadn't, but I still had to check. So my thanks to Ian for having the confidence in me to build this guitar for him, and I hope he has many years of enjoyment both owning and playing this guitar. My thanks also to Phil Short for allowing me to ambush him when he came to collect one of his guitars. Phil, as well as being a touring guitarist, also does tutorials for Lick Library, and I'll put a link to his website and his YouTube channel below this video. So thanks for watching this video. If you want to know more about my work, both in terms of the guitars that I make and also about sort of general sort of servicing, repair of guitars, there's more on my website and also on my YouTube channel. But thanks for watching this Flame Guitars video.